I'm Ronak, like I said. I'm the chapter lead for testing at ASB, managing the testing practices in the digital space for ASB. Apart from that, I'm also the board member for ANZTB, Australian New Zealand board. So, what's in for you today? We'll first start with giving an introduction of who we are, just in case we've got people who are turning up for the first time at the event. We have got a few announcements, and then we'll dive into the presentation by Pushparajan, which is on continuous security testing. So, for those who don't know, Australian New Zealand Testing Board is a not-for-profit organization and a member of International Software Testing Qualification Board. So, we represent ISTQB in Australia and New Zealand. So, our core purpose is to just support, improve, and advance software testing professional in Australia and New Zealand. What we do, so we kind of represent the ISTQB, so we govern all the certification offerings from ISTQB. That also includes ensuring the right levels of trainings and all in Australia and New Zealand. This Sigist is part of what we do primarily, wherein we support the testing community by having this forum wherein people can come in and share their knowledge and learn from each other. A few announcements. So, as you may have picked up from our LinkedIn group, we have now a new website and a new logo. We have rebranded ourselves, and I'm pretty excited to see what more we have to offer in the near future. So, if you guys haven't seen our website, please do visit www.anztb.org. Another announcement, ISTQB lately released the certified tester for AI testing. So for those who would want to upskill themselves in AI testing or would like to know how to kind of go about testing for AI based application, so this could potentially be a good option. Moving on, enough of me. Let's talk about the presentation now. So clearly, as you may know that lately New Zealand and Australia have been victims of DDoS attacks. Having said that, clearly in Australia and New Zealand specifically, the trend is to pick up more skills around the security space. And they say that if you really want to be future fit, there are two skills that need to be picked. One is the cloud, and the other is security testing. So, in line with that, we have PV with us, who would be sharing his thoughts on continuous security testing. PV, can you hear me?
Yes, Ronak.
Cool. Over to you, PV.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Ronak, for the introduction. I would like to welcome all of you for this ANZTV webinar. I am Pushparajan. I'm currently working as a senior quality analyst at TrustWave. Also, I am one of the ANZTV associate member. I have done more than 10 plus ANZTB related ISTQB certifications, and I'm preparing myself for the latest one, AI certification. Today, I'm going to talk about continuous security testing. So when we start, as Ronak mentioned, let's see the latest attacks, what happened in APAC region. In the last year alone, 5,000 plus incidents happened, and mostly 30% of them ended up with data disclosure. The top patterns are social engineering, basic web application attacks, denial of service attacks. These things are the top patterns. The primary motive for the attackers are phishing the employees' credentials and use the stolen credentials to get their email accounts or access to the web application servers. And the compromised data is primarily the credential. So from a testing community point of view, we have a big challenge. We need to protect the attack surfaces. Because of the evolution of cloud and wireless, the attack surfaces also keep increasing. Infrastructure, network security related assets, cloud related container security, wireless network security, web, mobile, APIs, data security. These are all the primary attack surfaces which has to be protected as a tester. What kind of challenges we have currently? New threats emerge, new stealth techniques emerge. When the new technology comes, obviously the hackers would find a loophole in that, and they try to attack, they try to exploit. Because of CICD, the IT environments also change daily. But a security testing point of view, the mindset is generally we pass it to a professional team, or we pass it to a other team. The security testing point of view, the focus is not given for every software build or every change. Even though the vulnerability scans and penetration tests, which are done periodically, it won't be done on a regular basis. According to the project need, it may be done for once in a year, or security audit point of view, it may be done at the end of the release. The vendors or third-party people whom are associated with your business, they also, their software, it keeps changes. So what kind of a security testing is being done for their changes? Again, that's a question mark. No dedicated environment for security testing. For security testing, generally we need a isolated environment, but most of the time the project won't get the dedicated environment for security testing. No automated regression test suite for security testing. Most of the time we have functional automation, and some projects may have, even for performance, they may have a performance regression. But security testing is again one of the case which will be, most of the time it will be ignored. Similarly, in some build, you get a lot of compiler warnings, or even sometimes it may be specific to security related warnings also. It will be keep ignored. When the warnings are more, the build has to be rejected. But still we allow and we do. So continuous security point of view, what is continuous security testing, and how it is going to address these challenges? Continuous security testing is a practice of challenging, measuring, and optimizing the security controls on an ongoing basis with the objective of continually reducing an organization's attack surface and improving its security posture with every build or change what is being done. Similar to any traditional testing lifecycle, continuous security testing also, it has 4 stages: collaborate, measure, assess, and secure. The protection point of view, it has a wide area to protect: the enterprise assets, the data protection and recovery, inventory control of software assets, configuration for enterprise assets and software, access control management, account management, continuous vulnerability management, security related audits or logs related management, email and web browser protections, malware defenses, service provider management. These are all the example where the continuous security testing is applicable. To transform the current testing methodology to continuous security methodology, first thing what we have to do is we have to define our transformation goal. We need to identify, according to my technology or project, what threats are most important, and then establish a security culture among the team. Pick your platforms which has to be secured, protect your email and web, and then follow security coding practices, control your internal network and physical security, plan for failure, perform testing for your mitigation actions in case of if there is any incident or anything happens, how do we mitigate, do a reverse and check, and then prepare for the communication with the public. In case if the failure happens, how I'm going to instruct my customers, what kind of a message I'm going to give. So those things has to be prepared. So as I mentioned here, the security education is not only for the testing team, it is for the entire team. Okay. Then the threat modeling has to be done, and we need to define the feedback for how the security related incidents and tickets are reported, to define the input for security testing, and define the security success measures, define the success criteria with respect to security point of view. What is the success criteria? Introduce the new CICD security tools, include abuse test cases, tag the security test and defects separately, whether it is during the project or from the post deployment production. If you find any defect related to security testing, categorize them separately. This will give a very clear justification when you take anything related to security initiative. This data would give you a basis to start the transformation approach. Now let's move on to the security solution. So the security solution point of view, to start with, the starting point is security standards or framework. There are some general standards available in the market, security point of view, plus industry specific standards also available. NIST is again one of the very famous security standard. Then based on the region also, there are some security standards available. For example, Europe, we have specific standards. Australia and New Zealand, we have specific standards. If it is a telecommunication, banking, you have specific standards. So these standards would be a good starting point to start the security related framework. Then security requirements point of view, if you see any requirement from test analyst point of view, you can ask the question, which user can access or who cannot access, what is the availability, how secure the information is stored, how secure the information is communicated. Okay. Then identify your infrastructure, have a better knowledge on end-to-end your infrastructure used in the project. What is the source code, where it is kept. Okay. Then perform the threat modeling. Threat modeling versus risk assessment, there is a small difference. Again, the referral point is OWASP. OWASP is a community website which provides the standards for threat modeling, like PASTA, STRIDE. These are all some of the threat models. And threat modeling point of view, according to your project, you can identify the top threats, and you can check at what extreme these threats can go. And in case if that occurs, what kind of problems we would have. So that's what a risk assessment point of view. So threat modeling and risk assessment will give you the initial identification of security related risks and what kind of testing has to be done. This will give you the initial scope for your security testing. Then functional or manual testing point of view. Currently, the project's point of view, you can perform say static code analysis from security perspective. Also the manual security audits, security testing, vulnerability scanning, and penetration testing. So when I say security testing here, the context is more of a functional security. So these are basically manual things, and the modern tools are available to perform the same thing. Most of them may either replicate the 100% whatever thing done here manually, it may be capable of doing that. But sometimes still when it comes to any security audit or something, still it may not be 100% possible. You may have to do a few things manual and few things automated manner. Again, for the CICD tools reference point of view also, I would strongly recommend the OWASP website. This website has both static application security testing tools as well as dynamic application security testing tools. So these are called as SAST and DAST. So this would be a good point to start with. So in this session, at the end of the session, I will show the hands-on demo using these tools. So once the security solution is done and the tools are implemented with the CICD, you will start getting the security compliance report as an outcome from the scanning and the security testing. You will get a security defects report, security metrics. So based on this analysis and outcome, again you can feedback to your scope and the process improvement. So this will become a continual feedback collection and improvement to the chain. Now, security testing tools point of view, to start with, I would recommend four type of areas which can be focused. So if you are using any web application, Zap, again this tool is from OWASP. This provides a web application scanner, and this is capable of integrating with the CICD and then API scanning, and then static code analysis point of view. You can identify according to your programming, for example, Java, JavaScript, C#. Based on the programming what is used, you can choose the tools. And then Azure DevOps, it provides the built-in tool called White Source Bolt. So this is capable of identifying any vulnerabilities in the open source components. So now we quickly see the demo and then we come back to the slides. So this is the Azure DevOps environment where I'm going to run the Zap API scanning. So generally the scanning takes a few minutes. So when we cover the rest of the slides, we come back and we see the results. So when you start the API scan, you can see the logs also, what kind of logs are running. So API scanning point of view, I'm using Swagger website to do the scanning, and for web scanning, I'm using Anztb website. So I created the release for the web scanning and deploying the changes. So in the background, basically what happens is it launches a Docker environment, and it uses the scanning tool to scan the website. Okay, so both the things are now started. So it will take a few minutes. So when we come back, we'll see. Now coming back to the continuous security testing feature mode of operation, how that's going to look like. So the main change is the continuous testing will be done for every build or every change, because when it is integrated with the CICD, this is possible. And high use of CICD capable of security testing tools, test your UA and API security testing. So both open source and commercial tools are available. So in case if your organization involves with any banking or financial or any highly critical where they are not recommending any open source, they want to go for commercial tool, you can refer OWASP website to start with. You can refer. OWASP provides both open source as well as the commercial tools. If you don't have any such kind of a constraint, and you can, if you want to use open source tools, you can use. People mindset point of view, the earlier it was done by professional consultants. Now it can be done by the test engineering community also, because most of the capabilities are built in the form of tools. So it can be complemented by testing community, as well as whenever there is a need where you need help, you can consult with the security professional consultants. So security tools identification point of view, initially you will have a lot of challenges, or when you try to implement this process, you will have a lot of challenges. For example, one thing is the tools may say some warning or some remediation action, but the young testing community may not know what to do with those changes. What do I do? Okay, so it will take some time to understand. So these are all the some of the drawbacks when you try to implement. But over the period, when you follow this approach of think big and start small approach, you can find out the most important problems which you can address first, and you can get benefited. In that way, you can cover some of these challenges. Tools selection point of view, when you select any security testing tool, always check according to your need what kind of a coverage it provides, whether it provides only the false positives, or only it provides a warning but not providing any remediations, what level the tool is exploitable, um, how much it is capable of SDLC integration, can it be fully integrated with the CICD. Okay, so all these points you have to check, as well as for the future needs, future technology point of view. If you are going to use both the web and mobile, then whether the tool is capable of supporting or not. So now benefits point of view, continuous security testing helps to defend against the latest threats. The OWASP community is quite big, and in case if any issue or anything reported at one region, it gets updated, and the tools are evolving. So you can reduce the risk on the attack surface quickly. Also, you can promote your internal team with respect to developing the knowledge and expertise. I would strongly recommend again security testing advanced level. This certification helps both test analysts and test managers to understand the various security threats and testing approaches. Test analyst point of view, the hands-on testing point of view, even for a functional security or using any tools, this will be a good starting point. Test manager's point of view, even if you manage any vendors related to security testing, if you are reviewing their security testing scope or their summary report, security testing certification will help you. Cost saving point of view, when you identify the defects earlier, it helps. If a professional consultant comes and if he gives at the end of the project, if he gives there are 20 plus incidents reported, sometime it may impact your schedule also. But when the continuous security testing is done if the professional consultant identifies a lesser number of security incidents, then again you can stick to your timelines and you will save some money also. Also, continuous security testing provides um, compliance to the government security standards or any processes and stay secured. Now we go back to the Azure DevOps. Okay, so web scanning has been completed. So when the web scanning is completed, this is how the logs will be presented. So the advantage of modern tools are even with respect to the scenarios point of view, the modern tools provides what test is done. Example, vulnerable JS library, information disclosure, whether the scenario is passed or not. Okay, so finally it will provide you the total summary of the results. How many tests are failed, how many tests are passed. So it will provide you the whole summary. So in the Anztb website, it picked up the whole content, all the URLs available in the website, and it come up with this result. So similarly, the Swagger website, I will show you the sample outcome. So in my slides, I have given the command for executing these tools. So this is the API scanning output, directory browsing, content type header missing. So these are some of the samples. The same way it produces the output of the total summary, how many of them pass fail. With respect to the white source bolt, as I mentioned earlier, you can add white source bolt when you create any task. You can add and you can go through the full setup procedure. If you click white source bolt, it opens the website and you can follow the instructions in the website. So in the release level, I will just show if you are adding a new task. If you search for white source bolt, you will get the software here because it is built in software. Okay, now I am going to show the OWASP website, which has the tools detail. So as I mentioned earlier, this is the web link which contains the source code analysis tools or SAST tools. So you can see here, based on your programming and the technology, you can see the list of tools and whether the tool is capable of CICD integration or not. you can check in the notes section. So if it is open source or commercial, whether it is capable of integrating with the CICD, you can see all the information here. So similar to that, dynamic application security testing tools are presented here. The Zap API comes here. So you can see the Zap at the end. Yeah. So in summary, I would strongly recommend when you want to start your career into security testing, um, the best thing is refer OWASP website and prepare for ISTQB certification, advanced level. Yeah, I would like to thank Anztb for giving me this opportunity. Now we will move on to the question answer section.
Cool. Can you hear me, PB?
Yeah, yes.
So yeah, we've got this first question. So, is there any tools available for database security testing?
Yes, again, OWASP, you can check the dynamic section. You can find out the database related testing. Also, still, are you able to see my screen, Ronak?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so what I have done is, apart from OWASP website, I prepared the list of tools, more than 50 plus tools, the popular tools which are related to security testing. Some of them I categorized like if you are working in mobile and you want to check the mobile based security testing, you have few. So I will share this list also to the community in case if you want to check, you can check and you can find out related to database security.
Cool. Sounds perfect. There's another question. While you did mention the list of all the tools, is there anything that you recommend specifically for continuous security testing?
So as I mentioned in my session, to start with, if your project is related to web application or you have a website and you have APIs, you have some source code, you are using some open source components, then these four tools I would strongly recommend, and they all are capable of integrating with CICD. Not only for Azure DevOps, the tools can be integrated in other platforms also. Okay, White Source Bolt comes with Azure DevOps, but the other tools can be explored. You can explore according to, if you're using AWS, you can explore and you can integrate some of the tools, even Zap and all. It may be compatible with the Jenkins, TeamCity, this kind of CICD tools. Also, it is capable of integrating this Zap tools.
Cool. And the last question from me. So you did show the Zap integration on DevOps, and it actually scanned through the entire website and all the web links. So that's the approach do you recommend, wherein we have that on a pipeline and it pretty much scans the entire application, or is there a way to restrict those tests just to specific pages, like the new pages introduced and so on?
It is a very good question. Zap provides a desktop-based Zap tool. You can. It is again. This is a complete open source, and using the Zap open source desktop tool, you can do a page-by-page security check.
Right. But
Okay.
that desktop tool, would that be on the pipeline? Not really, right? It'll be something that need to be run locally. Is that right?
Yes, yes, that has to be done locally, but I can explore on that offline, and I can get back to you whether if you don't want to scan all the links or thing, you want to just to do specific things. Maybe we may have a command level option also, so
Cool.
I can check on that. I can get back to you offline.
Cool. Thanks, PB. So yeah, that's all we had from the Q&A point of view. Is there anything else you'd like to mention, PP, before we close this?
Yeah, so ISTQB advanced security tester point of view, as I mentioned, if you are done ISTQB foundation, you are eligible for security tester. So I would recommend people who wants to start the security testing as their career. That would be a good starting point.
Cool. Thanks, PB. This is brilliant. I mean, there's little I learned today too, and something to take back to my organization and see how we could best implement it. So yeah, thank you, PB, for your time. Really appreciate it.
But for everyone, in case if you have any other questions or if you want to get connected with me, if you want to post any comments or anything, please feel free. Thanks again.
Cool. Thanks, PB. Cool, guys. That brings us to the end of this webinar. Point to note that we have got another webinar later today at 6, wherein Clive from Planet is going to share his thoughts on growth of TMMI. So, be nice if you guys could subscribe to that too. And also, if your friends or colleagues have missed this, so please redirect them to the YouTube channel. So all of our webinars have been recorded and can be looked at later in the time. Cool. Thank you. That's all we had. Take care, all. Stay safe and have a good afternoon. See you. Bye.